A friend of mine summed up brilliantly. A mate of mine, himself and his wife had just been to the whole thing, and I was talking to him a few days later, and I said to him, oh my God, she said an incredible thing. She said, a tear heals better than a cut, and your man goes, oh yes, that's very well known now. In fact, most surgeons these days, for the initial incision, will use a bear. There's an image to get out of your heads. This. Dr. Bear to Theatre 3. Dr. Bear to Theatre 3. Rah! 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 What are we doing today? Appendectomy. Stand back. Goodbye. Rah! Oh, Dr. Bear, are you going back to the mess now? Yes, maybe my porridge has cooled down by now. There's a question apropos of nothing, but how do you cook porridge in one pot on one ring on one stove, then dole it out into 3 separate bowls, and it goes at 3 different temperatures?
Hi guys, welcome to... That's the first dragon, if they're
counterclockwise. I'm not getting it, right?
However, it ends up happening. You don't move until you see your first 2 dive bomb markers. They appear simultaneously. The yellowy one signifies Nail is going to dive where you are when this appears, so Nail's going to dive through the middle. And the second is the first of several ones for the 5 dragons, who are each going to be baited by 1 die. You want to find Nail and do a light spread around Nail. We're in the same spread pattern we've used for Quick March Trio, but with the tanks closest to Bahamut, and then healer's melee range moving away from Bahamut. If you don't put like this light spread position because you find it too tight for the mechanics you're about to do, you can have 1 healer stacked on Nail and the rest spread out to give you a little bit more room. You're now about to get one of 2 triple Nail quotes. Just like in Nail phase, there's 3 hidden phrases here. Simplifying it down, the possible mechanic combinations are either in, spread, spread, or spread, in, spread. With that final spread always being a meteor stream where 4 random players get some damage.
Let's go back to the room.
Or should spread.
We're in the quiet room with the midwife and all.
As soon as the spread happens, tanks need...
This is word for word the way it happens. I love this story. Every time I tell this story, 120 times now, I can see his face. I can see his face, right? So we're in the room with the midwife, and she does quite a clever thing, where she reads out a list of all the physical changes that will occur in a woman's body over the course of the pregnancy, so that the women there can go, ah, that happened to me, or oh, that happened to me, and demystify it. She goes through her list. She goes, some of you may have experienced constipation. And in the corner of the room, one man raised his hand. And it's better than you think, because we all went, what the fuck? Even in the middle of it, what the fuck? And your man goes, we've had that. You can imagine her face, the look of we. I don't think we had that. We've shouldered many burdens together over the last 8.5 months, but frankly, constipation wasn't one of them. We all just about recover, and a minute or 2 later, she's going through the list, and she goes, some of you, she said, some of you may have experienced sore nipples. Up his arm goes again. No one can look. Everyone's going, don't look at that. That is the funniest thing that has ever happened. That man's nipples are sore because his wife is pregnant. Look at your shoes. Look at your shoes. Don't forget, look. I will die laughing if I look at that man earnestly with his sore tits because his wife is pregnant. Oh my God, that is the funniest thing that has ever happened. Me, I'm checking me nipples. I'm just flicking. I'm just seeing if I'm one of the lucky ones. I've dodged a bullet, I'm all right. I'm saying to my wife, this is actually quite pleasant. This might get me through the labour, to be honest. And we're all going, oh God, do another one, do another one, do another one, do another one. Because we know this game is about to end. We're about to break for lunch. It's like 12:30 on the first day. When we break for lunch, that couple are not coming for lunch with any of the rest of us. She is dragging him away to the farthest cafe she can find, getting the rustiest fork she can find, and ramming it into his thigh and going, nobody else was sharing information about their partner's arse or tits. Why are you telling them this stuff? You better zippity for the rest of the weekend. We're going to do one more. And your one only has one or two on the list. She's almost at the end of her list. And she goes, some of you may have experienced unusual discharge. And the whole room just went, And just as she went, fucking shut up! Genuinely, I've met the sense it kills me. Sorry. Okay, no, we're off the biology. Young men, we're off the biology. We're just onto the culture now, right? We're off the ickiness, right? If you have a child, this is the thing that everyone says. Oh, you're having a child? Oh, you'll have no time. Oh, you'll have no time. Oh, God, no, you'll have to give up. Oh, you'll have to give up so much, you'll have no time anymore. People say this to you like it's a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice, right? We got too much shit at the moment. Too much culture, too much content, too much stuff to keep across, right? I had a night in not long ago. This may have happened to any of you. Child asleep, wife out, house to myself. What did I do? Well, I watch a bit of sport. I've got 14 sports channels. There's going to be a match or a tournament or a game or something I can have a look at. I've got the house to myself. I watch a movie. I've got 20 movie channels. And besides which, I'm always buying DVDs. Let's have a look at the DVDs I've bought and never watched. A box set of a TV series I haven't seen the end of this. Because I watch a couple of episodes. Sure, what am I doing? The stuff's saved onto the Sky Plus box. Sure, there's 200 channels being pumped live into the house. There's bound to be something I can watch. No, I won't watch. I'll play. I've got 3 consoles and guitars and wobble boards and all sorts of guns. No, I won't play. I'll listen to some music. I'm always buying CDs. I never listen to all the music. Sure, I'll go online to Spotify. I can listen to all the music in the world. When I'm online, I go to Facebook or Twitter. I read a book. I'm always buying books. I never can keep up with the book. In the end, I watched the last hour of RoboCop. When faced with all of the world's culture, I panicked and just fell into a fetal position and went back to my childhood again, right? There's too much stuff. And do you know what irritating? Often the same stuff over and over again. I'm in a battle with the film I Am Legend. I Am Legend is your typical meh blockbuster. You know, you watch it for 90 minutes and then go, meh. But sold to us across a million formats, sold to us repeatedly, sold in the cinemas, then on DVD, then on Blu-ray, then on the movie channels, then on the terrestrial channels. Also downloaded for the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. You can also download it for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 on a small disc for the PSP. You can also get, I was traveling last year, every plane I was on and every hotel I arrived at, I Am Poxy Legend was being pitched at me. Everywhere for a year I couldn't get away from the film. This is the irony. It's a film about the last remaining man on Earth. And still the fucker can't leave me alone for 5 minutes. He's got the entire planet to run around, and everywhere I go, I'm a legend, here's me dog, I'm a legend, come here, play with me. I expect to be stuck in traffic, and for my sat-nav to go, traffic is very heavy at the moment. Would you like to watch a bit of I Am Legend? No! And it's not just blockbusters, stuff we didn't even need 10 years ago, right? Mouthwash. Mouthwash is a product we didn't even need 10 years ago. It is currently on sale from Listerine. It is currently on sale in supermarkets in this country in 6 types of mint. Name a type of mint. Spearmint. Yeah, spearmint didn't make the cut. Spearmint wasn't one of the mints that did it. Name another type of mint. Peppermint. Peppermint didn't make the cut either. Cool Mint did. These new bullshit mints. Cool Mint, Fresh Mint, Clear Mint. I bought all 6 and I racked them up in front of myself like a taste test. For the purpose of this show, trust me, you go any direction in any permutation, they're all pretty much mint, right? And then you have a moment of realization where you go, what am I doing? It's a mouthwash. You use it immediately after you've brushed your teeth. Everything tastes of mint immediately after you've brushed your teeth. Fruit, chocolate, chili, tarmacadam, a vagina. They all taste. Obviously, the key word is immediately. I keep it tuned by the bed. Okay. Anyway, so you have finally an opportunity to walk away from all this choice, this tsunami of choice that we have in culture. Because if you got a little kid and you go, I'm out of the game. I don't have time to keep up with this. I'm gone, right? First thing to go, right? First major cultural movement I just dropped was new music. New music, I've gone. I couldn't give a damn about new music. Fuck you, Zane Lowe. Fuck you. And every that's on Radio 1 going, yeah, you gotta listen to Twangity Twing Twing. Yeah, twang, twing, twang. Fuck you, right? Fuck Pixie, Gaga, Boots, whatever you're called. Florence and the Mechanics, good luck to you, right? You fight it out amongst yourselves and become classic hits. I'll hear you eventually, all right? I spent a quarter of a century being supposed to keep up with this stuff. I'm out of the game, and it's like throwing off a heavy coat. And you know what? It's also good to be out of music snobbery as well. To go, nah, I'm not part of this. Music snobbery is the worst kind of snobbery. Oh, you like those noises, those sounds in your ear? You like them? They're the wrong sounds. You should like these sounds in your ear, right? Forces people who like something a bit mainstream, like a bit of pop, like a bit of Girls Aloud or Take That or a bit of ABBA, you know, to have to go, oh, they're my guilty pleasure. I hate that phrase. It is an insult to top quality pop. It is also an insult to guilt. I might be an atheist now, but I did my time with the Catholic Church. I learned a lot about guilt, and I needed a lot more than gimme, gimme, gimme a man after midnight to merit the phrase guilty. You had to have the man after midnight. Then you can talk about it. If you've got a guilty pleasure, let it be something you genuinely feel guilty about. You know what my actual my genuine guilty pleasure is? I like to use a crowded tube train to touch women. It feels wrong, but it feels right. That's practically the definition of a guilty pleasure. It's particularly good if you can make it seem like it's their fault. Ah, what are you doing? Jeez, buy me dinner next time, honey. I don't do that, all right? Don't walk away thinking, I don't. I just smell them, all right? That's okay, isn't it? They don't own the air. What are you doing? I'm asthmatic, maybe. Come back. Smell of warm. No, new music gone. Do you know what else went? Movies. Movies went as well. This is the weirdest thing for me. I used to love movies. My two young friends over here, 14 and 15, the Hugh, still filming. I'm loving the way you're still filming this. We've got to get this stuff and stick it on the DVD somewhere. You know, there may be a point at which you're physically removed from the room. So we may need another 14-year-old to sit there for retakes for when the guy who couldn't stop pirating, even though he was repeatedly pointed out to him, don't pirate. I can't stop myself. I've got to tape it. I've got to tape it. I'm even blanking out earlier bits I taped. It's just a compulsion to see the thing ticking over. I'm deleting beloved family memories. I've got to have this show on tape. It's recorded for a DVD. How could you not? You can watch it glossy and live and shiny with your own face in it. That's how much better the version of TV. You're in the one we're selling in the shops. That's got to be better than the one you're going to record now. And I know the minute I talk to you, he's got it out again, hasn't he? He's taken it out again. I know, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that was the best bit to record, and you chickened out for that bit. That was definitely the bit to have. Anyway, right. No, if you're age, technical question. Have you seen The Godfather yet? Yeah, have you seen Dog Day Afternoon? Yes, Dog Day Afternoon. Does it ring any bells? Have you seen Taxi Driver? Oh man, you got stuff ahead of you too. You got such gold ahead of you. Incredible movies that you have to watch. I think it's going to be brilliant. You're going to love it. And there's so many of them. There's 1970s American independent movies, 1990s American independent movies, 1980s French and continental movies. Then, of course, you get to 38 and you've seen them. And you're stuck with just a giant shiny robot flinging Megan Fox to a styrofoam wall, right? And it kind of doesn't measure up, really, you know? You kind of go, and 3D, ask my arse, 3D, right? I'm sorry. Here's my take on 3D, right? They tried in the 50s, they tried in the 80s, they're trying in 2010, once every 30 years. It's like tuberculosis. It flares up once a generation, and you have to zap it with some antibiotics and get on with your lives. That's what you have to do, right? Don't get me wrong, Avatar. Ooh, Avatar, what a premise. It picks up where Titanic left off. In as much as half the cast are blue. Anyway, no, here's the movie that sums up movies at the moment for me. I want you to come with me because I guarantee the majority won't have seen this film. Incredible film, but you won't have seen it, right? The film came out last year. It was called 2012. Now, how many of you haven't seen 2012? Okay, right, a good number. Right, 2012 was an apocalypse movie. Was an apocalypse ended like a disaster movie. Was the most insane, over-the-top, ludicrously apocalyptic movie. Entire cities tilted and fell into lava. It was just ridiculous. You know, obviously, you know, you didn't see us dying, right? That's one of the things about American disaster movies. You know you're dead somewhere in that movie, but you never see it, right? You just see the Hollywood sign and the New York skyline, and they're all destroyed. You never actually see us. I think you could localize them now. You know, you could put a thing in when the DVD comes out. You know when you put a DVD in the first time and it asks you the language you want, like English, Francais, Suomi, and you're always tempted to click on Suomi, you know, to see what play is in Suomi, but you're afraid you'll get trapped in an extras menu in Suomi and not be able to navigate your way back out again. So you chicken out if you press English, right? They could do that. You could say, I'm watching it in scroll, London, right? And then you'd forget about it. But an hour and a half later, there'd just be a scene where a bloke runs in and goes, Trafalgar Square is fucked! And then runs out again. So, by the way, that line I do everywhere. In every town, I change it for a local landmark. This is the toughest town to do it in, because for the simple reason, it turns out if I go, Leicester Square is fucked, a London crowd just go, yeah, it is really hard. Just let it go down, it's so terrible, yeah. Anyway, it's a ludicrously over-the-top disaster movie. It is hilarious in its over-the-topness. No plot! Just John Cusack running away from lava for 2.5 hours. And always just slightly ahead of the lava. Oh God, lava! Oh Jesus, lava! Quick, get into the car! He drove off, the lava sped up. Then he gets into a plane, the lava accelerates again. After about an hour and a half of this brinksmanship, you go, Jesus, John, I'm spotting a pattern here, right? Why don't you hold still for a minute and see what the lava does then? Will it come up to you and go, oh Jesus, it's called their bluff, quick, get back down the hole. We got nothing. It's the most ludicrous, they destroy everything and it's all on the screen and you're going, oh my God, if you destroyed everything, there must be a reason, there must be some, you must have sat down with geologists or cosmologists or meteorologists to come up with some justification for the greatest apocalypse that we've ever seen. No. There's one line in one scene at the start of the movie to explain the entire apocalypse, and it's not even repeated to or alluded to, just one line, right? I'm not going to do this for you. This is why you have to come with me a bit, because you won't have seen this, but I will make the scene come alive. It's India. It's a monsoon. A man arrives, clearly in a hurry. He's wearing a suit. He's got a small bag. He's rushed to be here. He's a scientist. He's meeting another scientist. He goes, I came as soon as you called. The other guy in a white coat goes, we've had some incredible results. At which point, this bloke should have gone, well, why didn't you email them to me like we normally do in science these days? Why instead did you compel me to fly from Washington to India? I've been on 9 airplanes. I've watched I Am Legend 14 times. But he doesn't say that. He goes, oh my God, what are they? And this bloke delivers the greatest line in the history of cinema. Some of you won't get this immediately, but trust me, I will explain it. This guy, a physicist, turns to the other physicist and without any shame or compunction goes, the neutrinos have mutated. Now, for the non-nerds here, neutrinos are tiny, subatomic, really almost massless particles. They're released in nuclear breakdowns, like in the sun, for example. 500 trillion of them pass through your bodies every second. They can't mutate. Their structure is fundamental to the structure of the universe, right? They can't just change. He might as well have gone, the electrons are angry. Or the light from the sun, it's gone off. That's how fucking ludicrous it is, right? But he doesn't do this. He goes, the neutrinos have mutated and they're heating up the planet. At which point, this bloke should have gone, what the fuck are you saying? What shit physicist are you? What crappy Calcutta University spat you out with a fucking degree? What the? Did you not ask one of the blokes to check your figures and he would have given you a slap in the chops and told you not to get some guy to fly from Washington in a monsoon with no change of underwear to tell them there's a fucking neutrino? You're a fucking idiot. He doesn't deliver this speech. Instead he goes, oh my God, and runs away from lava for 2.5 hours. And it's never mentioned again. This, the most incredible thing that's ever happened in the history of science, is never mentioned again. People, they don't even go when they're running away from the lava. Why? They don't even think to ask. They just run and scream and or die, right? Even at the end of the movie, and I know you're thinking, end of the movie, spoiler alert. I can't spoil it. They're on a boat. There's a new dawn. They've all survived. Everyone in the cinema got up and walked out. I was the only idiot in a Curzon in Leicester Square with my arm up going, what happened to the fucking neutrinos? A week ago they had mutated and were heating up the planet. How did that change all of a sudden? That was the most amazing thing to have happened in physics. Did it happen twice in 8 days? Did they send a note going, sorry that last week, boss was giving me a bit of grief at work, wife was nagging me, I lashed out. Mutated, heated up your planet. Won't happen again. Yours, the neutrinos. How exactly did that threat go away? And then you're kind of going, if you're just going to make shit up, if you're just going to suspend all logic, then go for it. Jesus, go for it, right? If you're just going to go wild, then go wild. With the tiniest of changes, you could have a genuinely amazing movie. Same opening scene. Rain, man, suit, bag, I came as soon as you called. Other guy goes, we've had some incredible results. This guy goes, what are they? If at that stage, with the tiniest of changes, this bloke had just gone, the Latinos have mutated. And they're heating up the planet. Now there's a movie. 2.5 hours of running away from Gloria Estefan. Oh no, the rhythm is gonna get me. Quick! Quick! Get into the car! Who's that in the rear view mirror? It's Ricky Martin! Bam bam ba da 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 da. All over the world, mariachi bands erupting out of the Earth's core. La cucaracha, bam ba da 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 da. And the ending. The ending will be the greatest ending in the history of cinema. They're on the boat. It's a new dawn. They've survived the Latino apocalypse of 2012. John Cusack looks at his wife with love in his eyes, and she looks at him with love in her eyes. Then mounting horror as she raises up her arms and she realizes she's got giant, multicolored ruffled sleeves on and a set of maracas in her hands, and she just goes, tequila! And John Cusack goes, no! The end. Now that's a fucking movie I'd pay money to watch. Well, they don't make them like that anymore. However, in case you think I'm just being overly negative, I'm dropping music, I'm dropping movies, there is an art form I'm keeping. There's an entertainment industry I am supporting and continuing to support. And I'm going to say this, half of the people who will shout out in response and half of the people who don't will be like a bit, oh, for God's sake, Darren. This is the industry. Video games. Hello to the gamers. Hello to the non-gamers who are going, you're kidding me. Yes, I know it's supposed to be embarrassing. I know I shouldn't admit to it. I know this because if I'm at a dinner party and somebody goes, Darren, how do you relax after a gig? It's less embarrassing if I go, I masturbate to hardcore pornography. Because once you've got past that line, the conversation is exactly the same. Oh, I've not done that since I was a teenager. Oh, you should check it out. It's really moved on since then. The graphics alone are unrecognizable. And you have to use all 10 fingers. This is my argument for why video games are the winners, are the greatest of all these industries, right? Video games do a thing that no other industry does. You cannot be bad at watching a movie. You cannot be bad at listening to an album. But you can be bad at playing a video game. And the video game will punish you and deny you access to the rest of the video game. No other art form does this. You've never been reading a book and 3 chapters in, the book has gone, what are the major themes of the book so far? Well, I don't know what. Oh, for fuck's sakes! You've never been listening to an album. After 4 songs, the album has gone, dance, dance. Show me your dancing is good enough to merit this. And you go, is this good enough? And the album goes, no, and stops. No other artist, but video games do it all the time. I'll give you an example. A very famous game came out a couple of years ago, very controversial game, Grand Theft Auto 4, right? A lot of people would play that. Very controversial game because you could drag people into an alleyway and shoot them in the head. I never got to that bit. I got stuck on a bit where I had to steal a car and drive across the city and assassinate a guy in a train station. But the fucker kept running away. So I had to steal a car again and drive all the way back again. But you couldn't drive quickly because there was a toll booth in the middle of the route and you had to slow up at the toll booth and pay the toll. Trust me, 6 or 7 attempts of this, you're in your front room, in your pants going, I'm in fucking traffic. I'm on my day off and I'm commuting. What kind of an idiot am I? How am I wasting my life here? If I lived in Liberty City, I'd buy a flat near the guy I had to assassinate and I'd fucking walk to work. There are these games called Guitar Hero and Rock Band where you get a full-size plastic guitar and you can play along, woohoo, yeah, ah, woohoo, and you can play along to your favorite rock song, yeah! Red, blue, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. Oh, difficult bit. Blue and red, ah! And you buy them because the back of the box is named the songs you can play along to. And like one of the members said, Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And I went, oh God, I love Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. I can't wait to play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. I want to play Sabotage. But you can't just play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys because it's song number 85 in the game. So you have to play the preceding 84 songs to unlock Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And trust me, around about the mid-40s, you're playing Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, another shite you've never heard of. And in the same pants, in the same front room, going red, blue, blue. I am fucking wasting my life here, yeah? And the gaming tourists go, no, you have to unlock it. That's the way the game works. And you go, yeah, I'm 38. I unlocked it in a shop with a credit card. Give me fucking context. And they go, no, 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 this is the music industry. If this mimics the music, you've got to work your way slowly up the music industry, song by song, until you can get to the top and play the songs you want. And you're going, yeah, it's the music industry. You can always suck a little cock to get to where you want to get in the music industry. Why don't they simply put in a cheat level where you take the top off the guitar, pop the shaft into your mouth, red, blue, blue, red, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. There we go. Right, Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, anyone? I asked who here is a gamer. Who plays with the Wii? Yeah, that doesn't count. This is a Wii game. Ooh, I'm stroking a pony. That's a Wii game, right? Ooh, I'm feeding sugar cubes to a unicorn. It's going to poo out rainbows that I can paint onto Mario's house. That's not gaming. This is gaming. Oh my God, I'm in a gun battle. Which one of these isn't crouch? Every game involves crouching. You're always behind a little wall or you're behind an oil barrel. You're always crouching. But they put the crouch button in different places on different games. And you get panicked in the middle of a space marine laser battle and you're just pressing any button at all. And before you know it, your soldier is just waddling around the battlefield. Just looking up at you. Going, press anything, anything, not toggle maps. There's a game called Metal Gear Solid and you play a character called Snake. And when Snake dies, the camera pulls cinematically up from him and the man that Snake has been speaking to on his comms unit goes, Snake, 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 every time he dies. When I play as Snake, he dies a lot. But the man's sadness seems undiminished by the regularity with which he has to mourn Snake. You think once or twice he'd just go, Snake. You think there'd be some debriefing session where they go, Jesus, Mick, you're very fucked off with the death of Snake, weren't you? Well, he's one of the best agents we've ever had. He was not, Mick. We've looked back over the mission logs. His behavior in the field was erratic at best. He spent most of the time just waddling around the battlefield for no fucking reason. He'd just be waddling into corridors he didn't know where to go. He'd be toggling maps, then weapons, then items and weapons, then maps. He tried to put his maps into his items and his weapons into his might. Then he had to get behind that. He couldn't get behind it. He kept running at it. He kept running at it repeatedly. He ran at it once. He missed it. He had to run around again in a little circle. He tried jumping at it. Then he tried touching it, then jump and touch, jump, crouch and touch, jump, crouch and touch. Then he looked up, then he hit a crowbar, then he looked down, then he dropped the crowbar, picked up the crowbar, weapons, items, weapons, items, crouch, not crouch, weapons, items, crouch. Then a robot attacked him, he gave him his fucking rations. The worst agent we've ever had. Some routines have a natural finale, a punchline. Others just end when the comedian gets exhausted, jumping at an imaginary piece of video game scenery. And well aware that maybe 25-30% of the people in this room have spent the last 5 minutes going, jump, crouch, touch, what was he talking about? The man's a fucking idiot. It's not even making sense anymore. It's just, sometimes in that routine you can see a big group of young people, they're looking, and then like a meerkat, there'll be a middle-aged person going, what the fuck are you all laughing at? You're all mad, you're off your heads. Jump, crouch, touch. Is this supposed to be comedy? Is this what passes for comedy? I know, I get angry myself. Listen, I got one more story and then I gotta go. You're very kind. I say I gotta go, I'm gonna walk to there, turn around, come back out again, alright? I'm not doing the encore thing, because this is London. I get behind that thing, you'll go, right, Oyster card, we're out, right? You'll have already swiped in by the time I get behind that door. I'll be sitting behind there going, oh, come on, ask me back. I've got something prepared, come on, ask me back. I'll turn around, empty room. Oh, yawn, stretch, Sunday morning, right? So, I don't even disappear from view. It's appalling to watch. I just walk in there, turn, swivel, back out again. It's amazing. You'll see it in a second. Three stories. These stories are linked by how you're perceived for this job, right? At the start of the year, right, I was starting this tour and I was in Dublin, right, and I got into the back of a taxi, right, in Dublin, and there's a local bloke, and I said to him the name of the theatre. I was going to Vicar Street in Dublin, and I said the name of the theatre. And the taxi driver turned, looked at me and goes, oh, Jesus, you're that bloke from England. And I went, I'm not from, I'm from 10 miles down the road. And your man goes, I know. I said, well, why did you say you're that bloke from England? And he looks at me and goes, Jesus, you're a lot more cheerful on the telly, aren't you? You win this one. Then I arrive at the theatre and my mother rings me, right, from Ireland, and she says, I was talking to Mary today. I said, who's Mary? She goes, oh, you know Mary. I said, no, who's Mary? Ah, you know Mary. You know Mary, Mary from the club. Oh, you know Mary. Oh, you know Mary. I said, I don't know who Mary is. What the fuck did you say to Mary, right? And she says, Mary, she says, has a daughter called Mary. Right? Anyway, true story. But she said she's doing, my mother said, she's doing a speech for a head girl election. And I told her you'd write her some jokes for the speech. And I had to explain to my mother, A, I'm in the middle of writing a show myself. I don't have time to do freelance work for Mary, right? But more than that, I don't think the stuff I'm writing at the moment is particularly suitable for a 17-year-old girl who's about to do a speech to her school, right? So I say to you, girls of Loretta's College here, I say to you, why don't they simply put in a cheat level where you take the top off the guitar, pop the shaft into your mouth, red, blue, red, blue. There we go, right? Sabotage anybody beats it. And further, girls of the sixth form here in Loretta, I say this to you, everything tastes of mint immediately after you brush your teeth. Fruit, chocolate, chili, and you'll do the rest of the list yourselves. No, the story I'm going to tell you is one that I quite enjoy bringing home, right? Because this happened 3 miles from here down in Chiswick, right? This genuinely happened in Chiswick last year. I'm sitting having lunch, I just finished lunch actually, and a woman walks up to me and taps me on the shoulder and goes, are you the bloke off Mock the Week? I said, I am. And she goes, would you do me a favour? I said, I'd be delighted to, right? And then she genuinely goes, I've just made somebody redundant. So I was thinking you could come over, crack a few jokes, and cheer us all up. Not a word of a lie, right? I went, why would I do that? And the woman goes, well, the way I figure it, that way for her, it wouldn't be the day I was made redundant. It would be the day I met the guy off Mock the Week. And I went, it'll still be the day she was made redundant. I'm not a hypnotist. She's not going to forget that. I'm not even going to be 50-50 with that. She's not going to go home and her husband's going to go, how was work? And she'll go, good and bad. Why would I do that? And the woman genuinely looked at me and went, it's your job. And all I could do to go, whoa, there are many reasons I didn't go into HR. And probably the most compelling was I didn't want my job to be, quick, we've got a weeper. Get Coco. And I come quacking out to be big red shoes. Hey! Let's turn that frown upside down. Giraffe! It's not my fucking job. I said, and where's this poor woman sitting? Expecting her to go, oh, she's over there. I said, where's this poor woman sitting? And she went, she's there. I turned around and there was a crying woman. Oh yeah, oh she'd heard the entire conversation. So now, not only was it the day she was made redundant, as a little bonus, a little cherry on top of that particularly repugnant cake, it was the day she found out that the guy from Mock the Week was a prick. So now I have to go over, right? I'm looking at you and going, okay, let's go over. Let's go over. I'm gonna kill you. Let's We go over, I sit down, me there, crying woman here, HR woman here, me looking at crying woman going, what are you doing to be here? I don't know why you're here. And I go, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know how to go. I'm trying not to cry myself. And then we're going, oh my God. And I think, okay, listen, I said to her, this is a terrible day. This is an awful day. Nothing I say is going to make this not an awful day, but there might be one small thing, one tiny upside, one silver lining to this cloud, one good thing. And she looked at me and went, what's the good thing about today? And I said, you will never have to work with this bitch again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to talk to you. We'll walk off. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, very much. Oh, you're very kind. Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, hey! Oh, my God. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you people. Oh, that is touching. You know, that is genuinely unexpected. I was in the ice bath, the limo was ready to run, it was incredible, but you're still here and you wouldn't leave you know, you got the whole petition together, that was incredible. How quickly did you do that? Listen, very, very quick, ladies and gentlemen, because it's been an absolute pleasure and I'd like to talk to you, as it always is when you come here. Thank you very, very much for coming out to the class audience, right? But yes, don't clap yourselves, you know, that's all you were doing there. Yes, we are, aren't we? We're fantastic. We have performed magically tonight. It's been wonderful. There were times when he was flagging, but we rose him up. We breathed life into him. We made him a god. We are kings. That's more than you just did that. I think I read a lot into it, but nonetheless, right? But some people have been yet gods more than other people. Some people have been heroes, and that is one of the things I enjoy about this job. I get to be genuine, awe-inspiring heroes. Like, for example, no, not the fireman. Because we didn't really meet you. We've met even better heroes than you. We met a man who was cycling as a teenager with a girl he liked. He wasn't even a toucher or do anything inappropriate to her, but she fell off a bike under slightly mysterious circumstances. And she hurt herself quite badly. And she looked up at him and said, go, go, go. Leave me to die here in this ditch. I'm worth nothing to you now. And the teenage boy looked at her and went, well, I could find a use for you. So he carried her hornily all the way to the hospital, a mile. How convenient to have a fucking active a mile away from a hospital. Oh, you're just doing laps of the fucking district general away until eventually somebody got injured at the top of a hill. A mile! How convenient for you. He carried her all the way there, ladies and gentlemen. And then he looked at the doctor and went, save this woman's life! And the doctor went, from what? She has hurt her leg. Get the fucking cue, right? Get the A&E cue. Nonetheless, he saved her life, ladies and gentlemen. He's only a young man and he did it. Give it up to the man who carried the girl all the way to us. Give a round of applause. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's one thing, saving the life of a woman, but to save the life of a baby, of a tiny baby whose blood is magical blood. Special blood must normally be drawn from unicorns and special fairy dust clouds. And that guy, that's where they get one guy they don't even use his blood, they hold it in an altar. And they're freezing it, so in hope that someday to clone him and his blood, he gives baby blood, ladies and gentlemen. Baby blood man, give him a round of applause, everybody. That wasn't incredible. Who among us has ever fought 4, maybe 5 feet of water? As a child, struggled for life. And we had important sunbathing to do on the 2 weeks I get off. I don't know why I have to waste my time saving children, but she broke away from her holiday, ladies and gentlemen. She broke away to save that child's life. 3 feet of water she waded through to find that child. And then she lifted the child up and carried him the 6 feet to the edge. It's not a heroic story, right? We should have spoken to the fireman. But these decisions are making in haste, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm making the best of it, all right? So give it up for the woman who saved the child for the child! But if you can save a child, you can save an entire nation. You can save more than one nation. You can save all the nations combined. Because when nations are combined, they have to build some sort of listening device. And when they need a listening device, they build a man who build anything. He'll build anything. He'll build towers, he'll build huts, he'll build anything. But most of all, he will build the most difficult thing, the most difficult tender to request at a building planning meeting. He will build secret satellite installation for the United Nations. He's the one man who can do that. Give it up for Jimmy Miller! All of these people have been brave, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I have to give special mention to one young man who kept at it, ladies and gentlemen, who kept at it despite the fact that he was constantly pointed out and told to stop. He didn't stop. He wouldn't stop. He's not the guy who wanted to capture these moments and keep them for himself where he could hold them. Not to pay £14 for the DVD, you cheap prick. If you give me your name address, I send you a copy of the DVD. Not anymore. I'm going to charge you now. I'm going to come round to your house. I'm going to charge you for the footage that's actually on your phone as well. To the man who will one day grow up to be the greatest film director this country has ever seen. Give it up for that guy and the two young guys. I didn't get it very good. All of these people are heroes. All of these people are legends, but one man rises above them because once a year, we don't know where it happens, but occasionally it happens, once a year, maybe once a decade, a rare thing occurs. Somebody runs into a doctor's surgery with an x-ray and they go, oh my God, we have the worst possible medical emergency. And he goes, what is it? Well, you're going to have to see it first. And they cut up on that thing on the wall and they press the button and they both go, Jesus wept, is that what I think it is? And they go, yes, there are spanners in this man's brain. And they go, who can deal with this situation? And he goes, I know a man. I know a man who invented the technique for removing spanners from a brain. Where will we find such a man? In London? Not quite. At Ilipalola. He is the forerunner of the exclusive Il Spanero technique. They only know him as Dave the Brain Surgeon. Give it up for Dave the Brain Surgeon. You are the legend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm Darby. Thank you very much. Good night. Goodbye. Good luck to see you again. You're very kind. You're all legends. I love your work. Thank you very much. Good people. Oh my God. What is that music? Oh my God. What is that Latino beach? Oh no. Oh. Oh, building up to the big finale. Here comes the big finale. Oh, Chiquita! Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be fantastic. Good night. Goodbye, 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 bye. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Right, normally this would finish right here, right? Normally it would finish right here. However, I've been doing the show 120 times. Let me just get a glass of water. It's a genuine, this is the bit, by the way, that nobody else gets. Not the drinking water bit, everything gets that. Very rare for not a little bit thirsty when I'm roaring and shouting in the crowd for 2 hours, right? I love you too, my friend. Hey, you know what I forgot to do? You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to thank one guy who kept me on the straight and narrow. One guy who said a very important thing to me at the very start. He said I shouldn't be aware, I shouldn't care about, what the mores of society are. He didn't quite say that. He said, fuck PC. He just shouted it out. Either it was a complaint about the constrictions on language by the orthodoxy of political correctness, or he's recently brought a computer back to a major chain and is really pissed off. Ladies and gentlemen, I've done this show 120 times, right? And in there are various routines I have done, and I've performed them as much as I could, right? And I thought I'd done a very good job, but sometimes I worry I'm a little bit hammered. And it would be nice to see some of the lines delivered by a proper professional performer, a proper actor, right? Say, for example, during the 2012 routine, just to see how they'd be delivered by someone who genuinely knew how to. But you know what? Even better, by someone who was in the actual film 2012. How much better would my routine be with the guy who actually delivers the line that I am taking the piss out of night after night after night? So just for tonight, as a little treat, I would like to welcome onto a stage an actor you may know from East is East, or indeed from EastEnders, or currently on Strictly Come Dancing, but most importantly, plays the physicist in 2012, who delivers the magic lines. Could you please welcome Jimmy Mystery, ladies and gentlemen, onto the stage? Tonight, for one night only, myself and Jimmy will now recreate that routine and all of its important moments. Picture the scene. It's Calcutta, it's India, it's a rainy day. A man arrives in a suit with a bag. He is a scientist. He has traveled great distances in a hurry to be here. He is meeting another scientist. He goes, I came as soon as you called. The other man says, we've had some incredible results. You like that line? Wait till the next one. This scientist, you know, when you email to me, you do that bit, right? This scientist goes, what are they? And then this guy, without shame or compunction, this physicist turns to the other physicist and says, the neutrinos have mutated. That's good. Well, you're going, what a ridiculous line. He might as well have said, the electrons are angry. Or even, the light from the sun, it's gone off. You're actually doing it better than I do. How much better would the film be if this was the actual ending? You've had some this guy goes, what are they? If at that stage, with the tiniest of changes, with the fucking most minuscule, with the most itsy-bitsy tiny weeny of changes. If the physicist said this, the Latinos have mutated. And they are heating up the planet! Okay, big finale, big finale! Oh, tequila! They're fucking like Jimmy Mitchell, Great job, you're awesome stars. Thank you very much. Good night, goodbye, good night. See you again. I'm Darwin. Good night. Jerry Rifty. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Start. You don't sort of go 8 o'clock and into it. You sort of relax and scratch your arse and read the paper and look out the window. Well, this is me at my work. This is me, I'm doing it. I'm not on a yop scheme. This is what I do. Easy, isn't it? Well, I've thought a great deal about what I should say to you and how I should conduct myself tonight in front of you. And it's been a real problem for me because usually I relax into the more profane language very early in the game. So I think I could do it quick and relax. Fuck this! So, oh, that's much better. It's like a quick belt in the banjo. Oh, fuck! Right, now that we're at home, I thought it would be nice. I can hardly hit the you know what I mean? It's because I come from a place where people. I've sworn all my life. You see, I swear like all the time, and I think it's rather good language. People say it's a limited vocabulary. It makes you swear. Well, I don't think so. See, and because my I know at least, oh my God, about 127 words. And I still prepare fuck. You see, I've never found the English equivalent for fuck off. And it isn't go away. Because go away kind of dissipates, doesn't it? It goes, go away! Go away, shoo! Shoo! Go away, go! There's no conscience, like, fuck off! It always works, you know. And you never read, fuck off, he hinted. So what I thought I'd tell you, in case you want to ask me something, I bet you don't know. Now that you know the answer. And it's awful. Every time I open my eyes, I'm looking at one of my heroes. It's like a nightmare. I did this once before, you know. It was in the year that the Scotland qualified to play in Germany. You know, Scotland always qualify. You have to think of the year. I think it was 74 or something. They qualified. We were playing in Germany, and the guy who was supposed to make money for them kind of ripped them off. The Scottish football team, that is. And they ended up by being given a sort of a 6-month loan of a Vauxhall. Jet set stuff, isn't it? Get a loan of Vauxhall for 6 months. So, Willie Ormond, who was the manager, asked me to go down and entertain the team, and it was hellish. It was just this room full of Dennis Laws and Billy Bremners. I did the whole thing with my eyes shut. I came out my eyes. God, it was the best laxative I've ever known. So, yeah. So I was going to tell you a bit about myself. You probably know a lot because I've kind of become the darling of the chat shows. But I should tell you, I lie a lot. So, some of it wasn't true. I've made myself very windswept and interesting as the years have rolled on. Because I was born a sort of fart. You know, I've tried everything to be exotic. You know, and I've fought being plain all my life, but it keeps coming back. I always look... When I buy something expensive, I look as if I stole it, you know. That's what I look about me. You know, people give me presents, you know. Like Cartier glasses, and the police go, where'd you get them? They stole them out of a car. So it's weird, you know. I've got this mark on me that says nothing. And I don't know where it is. God knows I've tried everything. But I was born in Anderson in Glasgow, and it's sort of down at the dockside there. And I don't remember it much because we left when I was about 3 or 4, and I was brought up in Partick in Glasgow, where Partick Thistle originally came from, the football team, Partick Thistle FC. I say that because most Englishmen think they're called Partick Thistle Nil, right? And they're always good for a laugh, you know, Partick Thistle. And yeah, what can I say? I was brought up as a Catholic in Partick, and it was okay. I got A-level guilt, you know. Yeah, every time I interfere with myself, I think I'm going to hell, you know. Yeah, it was an okay education for everybody else. I think I spent most of the time watching pigeons screwing in the reef. That was it. That was the education. But I was very lucky because there was full employment on the Clyde, you know, and that was the way of Glasgow then. The shipyards, the schools opened their doors and the shipyards opened theirs, and everybody poured in. And I became a welder. I was actually becoming an engineer and joined the wrong queue. And it's the truth, because there was everybody had jobs, go like engineers this way, Mr. Hughes, and I joined the wrong line and became a welder. And I started being an apprentice welder without even knowing what a welder was. I didn't know what you pressed to make it work, for Christ's sake. The stuff. That was it. And I joined the Territorial Army to make myself a bit more exotic. I did. It was the parachute regiment. And I got my red beret, and I looked like Acne. I had my uniform, and I got my wings and everything. And we did an exercise once. It was a complete and utter waste of time, as the entire Territorial Army is. We did an exercise. It's a dreadful waste of time and money. Oh, I swear, I mean, we did an exercise in Cyprus. All us paratroopers in the Carigna Mountains with my gun. And we parachuted out of this plane. And as a matter of fact, I parachuted out of the first plane I was ever in. I jumped out of the first bloody plane I was in. Aye, it was the 9th flight, I think. Something happened to one of the engines and we had to land, and everybody was shitting themselves. I said, great, we're going to land! That was that. I landed in Cyprus, I sat on a brick, and it hit me on that bone there, the coccyx. I just about overtook the aeroplane. Landed again with a lump on my bum, which has never really gone away. And did the rest of the exercise like a giraffe having a drink. And it was full of little moments, you know. And the parachute regiment chased the Green Howards through the mountains for 10 days, and we caught one. There was thousands of us, armed to the teeth, bayonets down the trousers, and it was great. Everybody looked like Rambo climbing. At last, I'd become exotic, and we caught this poor bastard. And he worked in the same shipyard as me. He was a territorial too. It was great. I could have sneaked up behind him in the canteen and saved the country a fortune. And to give you, for those of you who don't know what I do, that must include me, really. I've never really understood what I do, but I've been intrigued for many, many years, since I was a wee boy, with the way ordinary people behave. I've never found famous people awful interesting. It's one of the great letdowns in my life. But when I found ordinary, just plain Joe Smiths, I found they do the most incredibly exotic things and make me roar and laugh. If I could give you a wee example, my brother when he told me, I thought I was going to hurt myself. It just took my breath away. You see, I spent many years working in the shipyards, roaring and laughing at extremely funny men, and wondering why, when I put the television on and watched a comedian, it didn't make me laugh the same way. This is roughly an idea. My brother is a postman. This is the truth. He's a postman, right? He's about Glasgow doing his, giving people letters and stuff, as a postman's wont. And at the time, they were pulling down buildings in the area where he delivers his letters. You know, the way they pull down slums and all that. And they had a rather unique way of doing it in Glasgow. The first thing they did was they went into the building, the tenement, you know, and they've got maybe 8 doors, sometimes 10 or 11 doors on the various houses, depending on how many on the landing, you see. Because sometimes there'll be 2 houses in the landing with 2 rooms and a kitchen, and a wee one in the middle with just 1 room. That was called a single end. And they've tried to get rid of them. And in one way it's a great idea, in another way it's not such a good idea. But anyhow, they took all the doors off the buildings first, and they made a fence with them. You see, round, and then they pulled the building down with this fence of doors. And my brother, one day, he went up. He's a postman, right? And he went into the... In Partick, where I come from, he went up into the building and he went to, Mr. McDonald, whoever, went to, and it says Campbell on the letterbox. So he knocks to ask Mr. Campbell where Mr. McDonald has gone. And Mr. McDonald opens the door. Hi, oh, hello, son, what is it? Oh, here's your letter. It's your door. Oh, yeah. He said, I found this door. Oh yeah, he says, aye, it was in a fence along the road there. I thought it was a cracker, so I've nicked it. So what he's done, this guy, he's out for a walk with a dog, right? He's just an ordinary block. I mean, you couldn't write this. Right? He's out for a walk and he goes, God, jeez, that's a great door. So right, he's away home with a door, right? So he's taking his own door, because it's night, right? He's out with the door, so he's better. Right? So he's taken the door off his own house and lent it again, and then taken the good door and put it on. So that's a cracker, right? This is what they do with my own door, and he thinks the lavvy needs a door. He's got an outside toilet, and the door needs... Right, so he takes his own door. He takes the lavvy door off and puts his own door on the lavvy, and then takes the lavvy door and puts it back in the fence. So nobody can take offence at all. He's the fence aside. He's got a new door, and so has the lavvy. He said, and everything went great until in the morning he went down to the lavvy and he found that burglars had broken into his toilet. And I've often wondered what the burglar thought. Going, right, this house'll do. Jesus Christ! What deprivation! Can you imagine the burglar leaving them a couple of bob? And so that's roughly what I've tried to do. And I've often looked at people and thought, my God, because I've been kind of obsessed with sex as well, you see. It took me an extraordinary length of time to lose my virginity. Oh, God almighty, it was ages. I won't even tell you because you'll talk about me. It was a long time. I was tattooed first. I mean, it was so long. I had to do it eventually for the sake of my sight. I had to go. It was purely for reasons of, visibility. I was going mental. I was becoming a funny shape. It was just awful. Aye. Well, the whole thing was, oh, Jesus. And I used to look at people and wondered how they did it, if they did it. Say, now, he probably does it. She probably does it. As a matter of fact, he probably does it her. I wonder how they do it. And I wondered if everybody had been telling me the truth, you know. Did you really, were they taking the mickey? I mean, if I go like that, they'd go, piss off! To practice on things, you know. I've never had a dog or anything. So it's weird, you know. I used to read things and sweat a lot. And I used to look at big fat people, huge, obese, gigantic people. See, I bet he does it, and I bet she does it, and I wonder how they do it. And I saw a man being interviewed on television, and he was in the Guinness Book of Records for being the most greedy person on earth or something. I mean, the man, he was from Texas, and he was the fattest. He was actually kind of lying down to be interviewed. He was looking over his waistband, you see. And I thought, I looked at the fly on his trousers. I was like, that was vast. I thought, my God, it's like Cyril Smith's trousers. And I wonder, where do they sell big Y-fronts that size? Or do you get them custom built, you know? So I was looking at this and I thought I was going to count the buttons. There was about 47 buttons. And And I thought, well, his wife's a huge big woman as well. She was talking away. Oh, it's wonderful to be in the Guinness Book of Records. And I thought, well, I reckoned, you know. I reckoned the meal. Because when you're Scottish, you know how it feels to have a wee willy sometimes. It's not, Scottish people don't have wee willies. No, I didn't say that. I'm not guilty of such racist thoughts. But I've been on holiday in Aberdeen. You're like a sumo wrestler. You go in swimming at Aberdeen. Your willy's like a baby's one. There's a wee point on it. You feel so stupid when you look at it. And the other bit underneath, the little marble pouch. It's like a walnut shell. I'm sure this man from Texas was a bit like that, I should imagine. I mean, his wee willy show and his wife would be, her stuff would be under here too. So they must sit there like sea elephants up on their knees, saying, right, Nelly, okay. Right, grab an armful. Right, up we go. And this wee person appears. And this huge big armful of stuff wobbling. Okay, right. Okay, more. Right, now! And it all falls off the bed. Fills the whole room. Left a bit, go! So that's kind of roughly what I think about. No, really. I seem to see things that people don't just take. I was in Los Angeles, and this is the truth. There was a sign, and it said, to the Braille School. And I thought, who is it for? And I thought, why don't they do all road signs in Braille? People stop and go, oh yeah. And it's odd, I must say. But there's something about I don't understand very much. I'm not saying love me, I'm thick, right? But there's a lot of things that my brain won't allow me to understand. You know, because they're so incredibly boring. And God knows I've tried. Especially with politics, you get 2 pages, you go, oh, bollocks, who cares? Who cares? I mean, that's how I've become a kind of anarchist, you know. I think roughly the desire to be a politician should bar you for life from ever being one. I was just watching them, don't vote, it encourages them. Do you watch them? God! I mean, isn't that awful? But anyhow, I tend to look at it slightly different. And I look at singers on the telly, and I look at Scottish singers, and I think, what are you doing? And you see, I'm a Scottish person, right? You probably noticed. And I look at these Scots on telly, they're sort of singing shortbread tins. You know? It's the whole nation, they're singing about this garbage. Oh, the mountains over here and the hills over there. Sun is in the river and I'm roaming in the gloaming. Bonny purple mountains and the sun is going up. Fuck off! I don't even begin to understand that. Because the folk music is actually wonderful, the real, but they avoid that like the plague in order to sing this stuff. And it's all written here in London. With strange wee men who have never seen Scotland. And one of them got found out about 5 years ago. He wrote a song called The Blue Misty Hills of Tiree. But if you've ever been in Tiree, it's like a bloody billiard table. Oh, the misty blue hills. Oh, and there's this never-ending line of Highland weird people. I mean, I'm not saying the Highland people are an amazing race of people, lyrical, nice people. But there's a section who keep turning up on television in Scotland. The Rhine Island shirt and a space in the teeth. And the wee badger handbag there. Mountains and rivers and Bonnie Morag and the Roman and the Gloamin. And it's a very strange affair. And then there's the Gaelic ones. You've probably seen them. They say hello to you all the time when they're singing. This is a song they do when they're mashing up the Harris Tweed to send it off, and they say, why are you wearing a Brine Island shirt? It's absolute nonsense. And we seem to produce in Scotland a kind of religion that's very strange too. It's the most patronising thing in television except for the weather. It's Wincy Willis here. Hi, Wincy Poo. I was just thinking, your television treat you like you're 4 years of age. Now, here's the weather. This is the country where you live. And this is a wee cloud. I really feel brassed off when they do that. They stick clouds and lightning on the board. You don't need to do that! I know what a cloud looks like! Just tell me, I'll understand! I mean, what if that carried on to the news? Today there was a massacre. Goo running off the desk. You have to behave yourself. Very well said. That kind of singing, you know, women sing kind of weird up there. They've spoiled a lot of great songs. You know, Robert Burns wrote some real crackers. And they spoil them with that strange way of singing. Because ordinary people sing okay. Not really. And the whole thing is organised by people who've got second names instead of first names. Crawford. Crawford, have you seen Finlay? Who are these people? They're alien. The surname clan have taken over. Campbell, have you seen Finlay? Oh, he was with Crawford and Torkel. What are you talking about? And the women dancers are great, you know, they're all giving it a bit of that. And it's fun. Winsome and buxom, and the men are getting a bit right on the loafers. For me, it's a bit strange. It's a bit like ballroom dancing's getting the same. Like people doing that. What are you doing? If you did that in a Glasgow dance hall, you'd last about 10 minutes. An elastic suit or that, no? What's that? And what's the Paso Doble? Nobody actually does the Paso Doble except them. And got people on holiday in Spain. So, and then religion, as I was telling you. Now, religion's a real growth industry in Scotland. The BBC Religious Department's got 14 offices. What do they do all day? You can't hear the typewriters for the rattling of the rosaries up there. So it's very odd. And they've got this never-ending procession of wee men who come on at night and tell you how dreadful the world is. And then in the most patronizing possible way, try to introduce you to God. Now, if there's a God, and I suppose there is, really, because I've always thought, if you believe in God, if anybody believes in God, there is one, you know. And it's not up for question. But these wee men come on and try and tell you, and the ones on the England and the Radio 4 in the morning aren't any better. They seem to have this never-ending line of people called Nigel. They'll tell you all about God in this strange fashion. Yes, I went to a football match the other day. And you know is the key. You know. I went to a football match the other day and it was terribly exciting. I watched with bated breath. It was Tottenham Hotspur, I believe. They were playing another bunch of chaps. They were very, very good anyway, but the game was rather exciting. And on the way home, I said to my son, Nigel Jr., I said, Nigel, he said, yes, Daddy. I said, did you enjoy the game, Nigel? Oh, yes, Father. Super and terribly exciting. Is that all, Nigel? Well, yes, Daddy. But Nigel, didn't you attempt to think of it on a more spiritual plane? Did Jesus play for Tottenham Hotspur, Daddy? And, you know, in a funny way, he did. My radio's all covered in muesli. It's got this sort of pebble dash finish. I'm always eating my breakfast and swearing at the radio. It's a sort of furry-looking radio, like solid porridge. It's great. I was going to tell you something else about that. Hi! These singers, you know, in Scotland, they don't. You see, I like the way people sing when they go to sing it, you know, like at parties. Now, the worst thing about show business for me is the parties, you know, because they're kind of boring. And, I mean, I've been to some nice ones and stuff, but they're not as good as actual parties. Like I remember from Scotland, and I'm sure people down here, you know, working people all have parties, and yeah, unknown people going, yeah. And you have you get a great deal of booze, or whatever is your choice, and you go, right, 5 minutes, Mr. Conley. Yeah. Be with you in a second. Yes! No business. So, I arrive here in a box like that. 5 minutes, Mr. Conley. Yes! Here to entertain you. I've started touching my willy. It's one of my more sort of disconcerting traits recently. Because I've been talking about people who touch theirs, and it has led me to touch mine. And there's a strange comfort to be had. about or anything. You check it like you check your change or credit cards or... Anyway, I think maybe it's going to fall off as you get older, like your hair. Perhaps when you're older you lose your willy. Panic in your soul. Usually happens to men in their 30s. Happened to me and mine. We're lying in the bath, luxuriating, and you look down, and there's your first grey pubic hair. That's your starter for 10. And I thought, God, how awful. Nobody told me about that. Because you don't get like Grecian 2000 adverts with a guy. You know, the guy walloping it down the front of the jeans. That's another thing I love, is adverts. I love the lie. I like lies on that scale, especially because there's nothing wrong with lies. They're fabulous things. My God, I'm a liar for a living. There's one to take my word for it. There is no recession. I am loaded. The Dow Jones Index, I don't even know who the man is. Right. Wouldn't speak to him if I did. So, what was I about to say? On a Saturday morning, in the papers, you get these adverts for things that they obviously can't sell. And people have gone, oh, fuck, God. Leave it out. What? You know, a combined cigarette lighter and coat hanger or something. Right, so, you know those kind of things, you know, hat and shoes to match. So, yeah, you know the kind of thing, you know, open neck flannels. So, yeah, bowler hat with sleeves, you know the kind of... People have sort of ideas and they go, that'll take on. So on a Saturday morning they appear. Trench coats. Smart trench coats. State size, and there's always a drawing. There's never photographs of these. It's always a drawing of some other bloody coat. You certainly know the one you're getting through the post. And they sell great. I've always been tempted to send away, especially for the big slipper. Have you seen the big slipper? I think these adverts are for people they're aimed at a section of the community who don't go anyplace. They watch the telly all the time. You know, well, I suppose your trench coat, you can watch the telly in your trench coat if you like. But it's a one big slipper. And you put your 2 feet in it. And you watch television. In your slipper. And each of the family can have a slipper each. Right. I was always going to buy 2. I was going to buy a pair and leave them in the fireplace. When I'm going out at night, in case a burglar comes in. And have it on one of those sensitive pads under the carpet near the slipper that switches on your stereo. Right, so as he goes, God, look at the size of them slippers. And the stereo goes, right, you bastard. Ho, ho, ho. So you can cheer the world up by doing things like that. A thing I haven't noticed in England, which is a very, very good thing, well, that is, it's a good thing you haven't got it. Is in Scotland, they say, well, that's all television tonight. I bid you all a very, very good night. And especially those of you who live alone. You know, should have just reminded them. Some of them are terrifying, they say. And those of you who live alone, don't forget to lock all... lock the windows and stuff like that. And make sure the flamethrower's working. And the Doberman pincher's got the elastic band round the willy. Keep it out. Don't let it nod off. And I always wanted to be in charge of that bit of the programme. Especially those of you who live alone. For God's sake, don't look behind you! Don't turn round! Another one they do is they say, and that's all tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the programmes as much as we did. We also enjoyed them the first time round, and yes, it's been great fun. And in the interest of safety, don't forget to switch off your TV before you go to bed. And for super safety, take the plug out of the wall altogether. Because the house could go on fire. The whole family could be barbecued. And they say, all right, and I must do it. If I was the guy doing that, I'd sit at the desk. Going, right. He'll be near the telly. He'll be stretching his hand out to put it off. Leave it alone! Do your job! Get back to your seat! I'm not finished! It's okay for them! Charlie's Angels, yeah, they're on every damn night! Well, it's my turn. I've got the switch. I'm in control of this station. I know the end is near. Get away from that switch, you psychopath! That's... But these adverts, there's the big slipper. And save pounds! They have a pound sign that goes down and down and down. Save, boom, boom, boom. That's three S's. Cut your own hair with this thing. And they have this lethal-looking thing with things down each side and a handle. And you, of course, you buy it and you go, my God, the minute you 3 feet from your hair, a big chunk falls out the side. Because hair's like that. You know, you've always, the barber always feels the hair that's dead as he's cutting your hair. You don't, you just see the result. But when you're actually just chipping away, it's a huge lump. It feels like a massive big lump. Oh my God. But I'll give you a bit of advice. Where are you going? Get back on your seat! Nobody leaves! Okay, lock the door! You're stealing something! Nobody leaves this building! I'll get him! Where's my bloody gun? Right. So if you buy that thing, and you'll be in the bathroom trying it because you don't want your family to see that you've bought it, the normal thing is go, oh, bugger that, and leave it. Throw it immediately in the bin. Because the time will come when you're out with the lads or whatever, you're at a party, a bit pissed. Yay! Take him in, Dean. Oh, there's that thing! Hey! That'll do me! That's brilliant! It's a doggo! Look at that! Toscado! There's another great thing. It's an energy suit. And it's like a sleeping bag that you wear when you're sitting in the house. It's your sleeves and things. And the idea is to save energy, so you put your big suit on and your slipper there. And you cut each other's hair if the telly's boring. And there's another fabulous thing. Incontinence knickers. There's always too many incontinence knickers. I think they were expecting a sort of plague of incontinence. I think maybe it was at the last budget or something. They expected to sell a lot. Oh no! Right. And I was looking at this incontinence stuff, and I thought, I don't want to laugh at incontinent people, right? It must be terrible, right? Being incontinent. You know, you get all dressed to go out and you go, psh. Change it. You can't buy white clothes. You can't buy grey suits. You go, Jesus. Right. Because young people are incontinent too. I mean, it strikes at all ages. Suppose he's a young, trendy guy. Hey. There you go. He's trying to sneak back to his seats. Get back! You haven't missed a thing. I was only killing time to get back. Go on. So the guy's young and trendy. Says, and then he sees the advert. Right, that'll do me. Give us a pair of them. Give us a bit of that. That's the very fellows for me. The see-through +4s. Just a job at St Andrews on a rainy day. Can't get the trendy baggy trousers on. And off to the discotheque giving it a bit of that, yeah. Hey, how you doing? What's your sign? Sagittarius? All right. Yeah, half man, half horse, yeah. License to shit in the street. That's good. Cares not a jot. Your pony, saddle up and ride it. What's happening later, yeah? It's 7 gallons down each leg. I'll take you home in a minute. I'll just go and empty my underwear. Into the toilet and loosen the thing like that. Thames level phone disappears. Oh, they're fabulous. You should read these adverts. And the energy suit. See, so you can wear them under your energy suit. And there's a tray. There's a great tray you can get for sticking on the side of the settee. It clamps on. In case you're a bit overheated when you're watching Starsky and Hutch, you go, oh, not yellow grey all over the carpet. And it's got holes in it. So your stuff sits well in, wedged in. Your tea and the custard creams are all in wee places. You see, your energy suit's to save energy, so you switch off all the heating and get the suit on. And that girl's cutting the hair. And my favourite, dog bags. Keep dog hair off the furniture. This breakthrough dog bag. And it's a bag you put the dog in. You get a wee special bag for the bungee. Keep feathers out the carpet. So your dog's in the bag, and you're all sitting with a big slipper each. Watching the telly. Unless you're a super duper family, you get one big slipper for the whole family. Well, you've all got a big slipper each, and the mother says to father, I'm just nipping out. I'm just nipping out to the toilet. What? Why don't you put on a cup of tea? I'm gonna do that. Anyhow, that's... And the other bit about my life before I got here, to this stage, you know, to this part of my life, and is I used to be a folk singer, but I was dreadful. And the voice like a goose farting in the fog. And the whole thing limited me a bit much, you know. You can only go so far with Dead Lifeboat Man, then you get kind of stuck. And mining disasters, and it doesn't make you attractive to women at all. So a man held up a thing there in the set and spoiled my floor. And I'm supposed to, would anybody like to ask me a windswept and interesting question?